Good morning again, dear students. This is Mr. Abdurrahman. This is another session, recorded session for business subject, designated for you as grade 9 students. Today we'll continue talking from where we started. Right now we are talking about the human resources concept, and we reached the point the previous time we were talking about the idea that after the human resource department advertising for the vacancy, application forms from possible candidates will start arriving at the core quarters of the HR department, and these forms can or the methods of communication can be anything. It could be an application form, it could be a CV referred to curriculum vitae, and it could be even a resume. Okay, we'll talk about these different methods in a few minutes. But first, let's talk about, as I said, after the job advertised, applicants uh, will start, applicants, applicants will start sending to the HR department. They will send many things actually. Besides these, they need to write something called application letter. They will send an application letter or letter of application. Letter of application describing many things. Describing number one, uh, why the applicants wants to work for that business and why they think that they are suitable for it. So after they fill the application form or write a letter of application, they will enclose it and send it with one of these methods. This application form can be online. It could be an online application form, and sometimes this application form will be filled when they're doing the interview. We'll talk about the interview later. So the applicants, when they see the announcement or the advertisement from the HR, they will send an application letter beside a CV. Um, just to talk about the CV, what the CV or the resume or CV or resume, both of them actually, what they consist of, what both of them they contain. They contain a lot of things. They contain skills, experience, uh, qualifications, that kind of things. All of these things can be available in the CV or the resume. So the CV consists of all the needed information to know from the HR department. Um, as these applications start to arrive at the HR quarters, after that, or actually after that point, after they're receiving that, HR will start making a short list of all the applicants. So the HR, after that, they will make short list. This short list consists of all the possible candidates that will fill the job. They will pick like 5 or 7 people out of 20 or something like that, and they will move to the next stage after that, which is the interview stage, to make sure they pick a person from the this short list. Um, Before talking about the interview point, I'm just gonna mention a few things about the curriculum vitae or the resume. We said that it's some sort of document that consists of the qualification or the experience or the quality of the person. and we just need to explain it in details what it should contain in detail. So I'm just gonna clear the screen. What the CV or the resume consists of, what they should have. The CV should consist of the following. It should contain number one, what the CV should have or the resume. It should have the name of the candidate. It should have the address. Beside that, it should contain a telephone number, uh, tele number. It should consist of DOB. DOB stands for date of birth. Also, it might consist of other things like nationality, education, qualification, nationality, education, qualification, sorry, qualification. Yeah, just write it very small. So the CV or the resume should contain the name, the address, the telephone number, uh, date of birth, nationality, education, qualifications, work experience, for example. Uh, we can set this together. What we said, I would say experience. Um, Anything else that can be in the CV? Um, we can say that maybe you can even add the interest, like your hobbies, because sometimes the job or the business they seek specific characteristic in the candidate, and to be able to fit it, they need to fit it with certain a character or characteristic parts of the candidate. So this is about the structure or the CV or the resume. They do not differ so much. Maybe they are different in their style. Just know one thing, that they consist of all of the following. As I said, when the candidate filling this, they need to fill actually the applicants. As I said, the applicants when they send the CV will send two things. As I said, will send CV or resume, or beside that, they will send, as I said, application letter. Application letter consists of few information. I'm just gonna draw it to you here. What the application letter consists of. Application letter should answer two things or outline briefly two things. Number one, why candidate wants the job. Why candidate wants the job, and it should outline also why they feel they are suitable. Why they feel they are suitable for job. This is the purpose of the application letter or letter of application. This information should be briefly outlined in the application letter. And as I said, sometimes the application form can be completed in the interview. Instead of when you're reaching the interview point, they will ask you to fill some sort of form instead of. So this is about application form. Um, and they will receive the CV and the letter application letter, and they will talk will take will, the HR department will take the process from there as an interview style. Let's talk about the interview now. Enough talking about the application form and all of that. Let's talk about the interview. Interviews. What do you need to know about interviews, or the what is the purpose, or what does happen? Uh, what does happens in the interview part? The applicants, as I said, the HR will make uh, will receive CVs, and after they receive CVs, they will make short list of possible candidates. After that, this short list will be called for interview. Sometimes they ask people, there's another thing that I want you to, in the interview part, uh, they will ask sometimes the candidates to provide reference. Reference is like they will ask you to give them information, give the HR information about your previous employer or previous boss, like giving telephone for previous uh, manager of yours. They will ask you also to provide uh, the different characters of yours, like your honesty, reliability. This is the point from the interview. Interview all about showing your character, everything. This is the point from the interview because things on the paper different from the physical appearance. So most of the time they will ask questions to be able to define your characteristic as a person. Um, However, the interviews are not always reliable for choosing a best person for a job, but they need to add to that something else. But just to point out the purpose of the interview, what is the purpose of the interview? Purpose. Purpose of interview. We will list them here actually. Mainly, this is what is needed, or this is what the interview do for the HR. Number one, it will define the candidate ability to fill the job. It's like they will be able to distinguish or tell if this person able to fill the job. Number one, define any, it will enable the HR to define any possible personal skills that can be taken as advantages or disadvantages. They need to define your character of person to be able to see if they can use your these personal skills for their advantage, to fill maybe extra rule, or maybe you have some weak points. They need to discover that all the personal qualities. Lastly, the last purpose of interviews for HR department is understanding the general characteristics of applicant. They need to understand the general characteristics of yours, like your temper, are you an honest person, and that kind of things. Uh, that's about the purpose. Let's talk about another point, the form of the interview. How the interview will be held. It might be one to one. It could be, this is most likely, it could be one to one interview. It could be even two to one, like the HR department plus the manager that will be, or the director that will be responsible of you. Also, it could be a group of people. It could be a panel interview. It could be panel interview. Panel interview, it means that you're gonna sit in front of uh, a group of people to fill the position. Most of the time, the interview panel will be used for senior positions, like important positions, like if they want to hire someone to be a new manager for a company, they will use the panel interview for sure to fill the senior positions. Uh, beside that, guys, about the how, the interview might be using some kind of tests to be able to select the candidate. There's a variety of methods or uh, tests to tell if the candidate can fill the position. The interview can hold some tests just to add some preciseness to selecting the candidate. Number one, it could be skill tests. These skill tests will define if the candidate able to do a specific task, very specific test, and it's not like uh, it will test you your ability to do a task, like writing some form, or I don't know, making some small program, or solving some technical problem. So number one, these tests can be skill tests. Also, these skills can be aptitude test. Aptitude aptitude tests. The point from the aptitude test is to check if you have the potential to grow more skills. So the aptitude purpose is checking potential, checking any potential skills to be trained or to be used for other extra tasks in the business. Beside that, there is the personality tests and the group situation tests. Beside these, there's also personality test, personality tests. These personality tests just to discover if you are like honest or can work under pressure, that kind of things. Checking your characteristics, the character of yours. The last kind of tests is the tests that is testing you. They are called group situation. The group situation is testing you with other candidates. How are you behaving as a team to face certain problem? So it's checking your ability to work as a group in a as a member of a team to solve a certain problem. All of these are the different types of tests that can be carried out by the HR department as part of the interview process. It can be skill tests, it can be aptitude tests, it can be personality tests, or group situations. Okay. Um, After that, let's talk about the negative side or the sad side. When the HR decide how are they dealing with rejecting applications. You know that not everyone will be accepted. They will accept only one person, or uh, rejecting. Uh, this is the process. Rejecting the unsuccessful applicants. Rejecting unsuccessful applicants. This is after that, after the interview, after the skills. This is the other part. This is the other step, the other process that the human resources department will start processing. Mainly, you need to understand one thing. After they find the suitable candidate, uh, the HR department they need to inform. They need to inform other applicants that they are not accepted for job, and also to thank them for considering working for the position. This is the most important thing. They need to act very kind about it and inform them gently that they are not accepted for the job. And that's it for this part of the human resource department. Uh, I want to thank you for viewing, and I will see you in another videos, inshallah, guys. Thank you for viewing. See you again, inshallah. Take care for now. Okay, bye bye, guys.